Hi, guys, and welcome to our next lesson for our personal narrative. Today, we're going to be focusing on a strategy I like to call show, don't tell. And I'm going to start off by reading a personal narrative called The Perfect Spot. And I want for you to see and listen to how this author shows you what's going on instead of just telling. Cold, wet sand surrounded my feet on all sides with each step I took. The cool breeze wafted the scent of musty salt beneath my nose. I continued my walk down the coast as I scanned the beach for the perfect spot. My eyes trailed over flip-flops, small colorful shovels and buckets, assortments of beach towels and giant sun hats. I stopped for a second, noticing an empty area in the sand. Walking quickly in that direction with my beach bag weighing down my arm, I was too slow. I observed as a man, woman, and two kids came barreling down from the boardwalk. They stopped in the area I spotted and heaved a pile of beach chairs and sand toys onto the ground in relief. I threw back my head in frustration and continued my trek down the beach. My eyes continued to comb the beach for a clearing in the sand. Sweat began to roll down my forehead and disappear behind my ear. I also noticed a few squawking seagull friends that joined me in my stroll and looked at me like I should throw them a snack. I started to worry that there were no areas left on the beach to carry out my much anticipated plan. Suddenly, I saw a blue flying saucer soaring toward my face. My head darted left and then right, trying to avoid it. I just looked out as it skimmed my head. As I let reality set in about the situation, I heard a boy call out, "Hey, mister, can you throw me my frisbee? That was awesome the way you dodged it." Huh? Oh, sure, I mumbled, and then spied the blue frisbee as it laid on the ground in front of me. I picked it up and purposefully threw it back with some speed that almost knocked the kid off of his feet as he caught it. I shot him a thumbs up and continued on my way. I felt hopeless and watched as a tiny sand crab scurried across my path. My bag was like a sack of potatoes sprawled over my shoulder. When at last I spied what could be the groundwork for my little plan, I walked down a little further, the sand clumped between my toes, to survey the area. The closest people were about a dozen yards away. The clearing of sand was huge, and there was plenty of room to work with. The sand was saturated, soggy, and moldable. A smile spread across my face as I let out a long sigh. I dropped my bag, claiming the area for myself, and unpacked my bag. I unloaded my heavy duty garden shovel and my carving tool, as well as a few buckets of different sizes. I had my spot, my tools, and I was ready to build the best sandcastle this beach had ever witnessed. This author did a really good job of showing you, as the reader, exactly what was happening. So instead of saying, for example, right here, they could have said, "I looked for a spot." They said, "My eyes trailed over flip flops, small colorful shovels and buckets, assortments of beach towels, and giant sun cats." Instead of saying, "I looked at the boardwalk," they were more specific and said, "I observed as a man, woman, and two kids came barreling down from the boardwalk." Instead of him saying, "I was so mad I couldn't find my spot," he said, back I threw back my head in frustration and continued my trek down the beach. So, as a really good author, we want to make sure that we are showing our reader exactly what's happening and how we're feeling instead of just telling. That's what we're going to practice today. So, when we show instead of tell, we show readers where we are. So instead of saying I was in the kitchen or we were in the car or I went to the beach, we could say things like this. Instead of I was in the kitchen, we could say the smell of onion made my eyes water. The sound of the water bubbling in the pot and the timer beeping made my stomach growl. That shows the reader exactly where you are. Instead of just, "I was in the kitchen," we added a lot more details that explained and helped your reader to visualize and kind of see exactly what was happening. Instead of saying, "We were in the car," We could say, my seatbelt clicked into place just as the engine came to life. I could hear my parents discussing the shortest route and the upbeat music on the radio. So you're showing your reader exactly what that looks like and sounds like and feels like. Instead of saying I went to the beach, we could say I listened to the waves crash and breathed in the salty air. The sand was soft between my toes. Notice how they're using the five senses to explain smells, the taste, the things that you're hearing, the things that you're feeling. So when you go into your personal narrative today, I want you to look for some of those things in your writing and add how your senses were feeling in those locations. So, today in your personal narrative notebook, you're going to be starting by working on slide 10 and 11 by showing readers where you are. So, instead of I was in the kitchen or we were in the car, I was at the beach, it was hot, I was hungry, I was sad. Come up with some ways to show your reader using your senses how you were feeling or what you were smelling or what where you were and how you were doing it. Then I want you guys to go down to your personal narrative and look for some places where you told your feelings instead of showing exactly how you felt using those senses. Don't forget to share your work with your teacher, and I can't wait to see how you guys do today.